What's up, guys? I'm Craziac, and it's time to answer your questions. I've picked some, I kicked some out of the list because I didn't feel like answering them. I'm like, this question is we'll answer it later in some video or something like that. So I've got a bunch of them answered, and I'm gonna go through each one individually, and we'll see what the answers actually are. Have you ever done anything evil to your Sims in the Sims games? Once, and then I regretted it and I never did it again. In the original Sims, I made a pool and I put the ladders in, I let a Sim get in the pool, and then I took the ladders out and watched until he just swam around until he died of hunger. So I did that, and then I never did it again. Why become a YouTuber? That's a good question. I mean, I've seen lots of other Let's Players do stuff, but I didn't even know Let's Playing was a thing until one of my friends told me about it 3-ish years ago, and he's kind of like, oh, why don't we start a Let's Play channel? And I'm like, what's a Let's Play channel? So initially I actually started it with 2 other people, and we had our own channel, which was called Let Us Play Gamers. You can actually still find it on YouTube by searching it. I'm not going to post a link to it because it's embarrassingly bad, but if you really want to find it, you probably can. So yeah, I really enjoyed doing it, but the problem was we had so many scheduling conflicts that I was like, I want to keep recording. I want to record like every day. I want to keep making these videos, but I can't because people are always busy in schedules, and yeah, so I made my own channel, and that's kind of why I'm a YouTuber. And yeah, I think that answers the question ish. Where are you from? Well, you see, I'm from Canada, eh? I'm from the western part of Canada, eh? In the Alberta part of Canada, eh? Yeah, so I'm from Canada, and right now I'm living in the US, so I don't know where you meant with where I'm from, but I'm from Canada, living in the US. That's a thing. What is the scariest horror game I have ever played? That would be Silent Hill 3. Hands down, no question. That game keeps me up at night. When I did the Let's Play of it, I only ever played 20 minutes, 25 minutes, 30 minutes at a time, so it didn't bother me that much. But when I played through, initially, I played through like half the game before I did the Let's Play, I was playing through for like 2 hours in a row. And that screwed with my head so hard. There was one night when I only got like 25 minutes of sleep because of it, and I just woke up and ended up just playing video games because I couldn't sleep. But yeah, so Silent Hill 3 was definitely it. Silent Hill 2 is a close second, but definitely Silent Hill 3 was it. What got me into playing video games? Okay, so video games were kind of a ubiquitous thing when I was a kid because it was like the new thing with the N64 and the original Xbox release and PlayStation 1, all those things. So it was really just kind of a fad that I got into, and it's kind of like, hey, these are way cooler than board games. Let's play these for the rest of my life. I mean, it's a pretty simple answer, but that's kind of what got me into playing video games. Why do I look 40 years old with a 14-year-old's haircut? You are literally the first person to say I look older than I actually am, so wow, thank you for that. Am I affected by all the horror games I play, like being afraid of the dark or whatever? I mentioned Silent Hill 3 being the scariest game that like kept me up at night. And there was like a couple of times after I played it where I was like, I don't want to go into a dark hallway because I'm alone in this house. But other than that, no, like I'm not really super afraid of the dark or anything like that. Like they don't affect me that much. Once the lights come on after, it's not that bad. Unless I've been playing it for like 2 to 3 hours, in which case it kind of messes with my head for a while. Do I have a cat, and if so, what's its name? Okay, so I've had lots of cats for my entire life. I think I've had a total of 5. Only one is alive right now, and he's back home in Canada. I don't have him here. His name's Apollo. But previously I had cats named Nico, which was actually based on the Japanese word for cat, just completely mispronounced. Simon, Mowgli, which is based on Jungle Book Mowgli, and Gizmo. There you go. So those are the 5 that I've had. My parents had cats way before that too, so we're a cat family. What do I think of the character renewal for Elsword going on in Korea right now? I wish it would just hurry up and get here already. I'm so tired of waiting. I want the homing bullets for Deadly Chaser. Like, now. Please. Now. Do you enjoy playing Elsword in all the games you've played? Does Elsword get me bored after playing a lot? And do I enjoy Elsword as a game? This is a complex matter. I enjoy the game of Elsword. I do. I really do. I enjoy the mechanics. I enjoy the skills. It's just that there are characters that I don't enjoy playing. So when I end up like... After a while, Runeslayer got really boring for me. So I found it very difficult to improve my skills with Runeslayer just because I'm like, ugh, it's Runeslayer again. And like Aisha, I don't find that exciting. Reyna, I don't find that exciting. And when I get to like Halls of Water and have to do it like 7 times, it's like, well, this is getting dumb. So when I have to do like 3 dungeons in a row, that's fine. And when I'm using a character I like, that's also fine. I mean, I just did the Dancing Flame Weapon title in Elsword, which required, because of an event, 75 runs of the Collapsing Flame Temple. And it was fine. It wasn't the best thing in the world, but I didn't mind doing it because I love playing Deadly Chaser. He's like my favorite character in the whole game. So the fact that I was able to do it with him 75 times made it okay. So to some extent, I still do enjoy playing Elsword. It's just that there are times when it's like, oh, really? A 7th run of Halls of Water? Ugh. What's my job? What did I major in? And where did I go to school? So I went to school at the University of Calgary in Canada, and I majored in computer science. So I made computers into a science and all that graph theory and fun stuff like that probably isn't very well known to you guys. But yeah, so that's why I did. So I've done programming for many, many, many years, since I was 11, actually. And yeah, so that's why I did computer science. Not as much programming as I had hoped in the actual school program, but it furthered my studies and got me a job. So that brings me to the actual job. So I'm a computer programmer. I make web software and I make telemetry for web software. So you want to know how many people are buying things, what buttons they're clicking that are encouraging them to buy stuff, how often they're signing in and out, that kind of stuff. So I write code that determines that kind of stuff and reports it to a central server for everyone to find out. Do I play Void Elsword, and am I going to do Void Elsword as a series? Unfortunately, I don't, and I can't, because part of COG Games' terms of use is that you cannot play in private servers. So if I play in a Void server, I could easily get my main characters actually banned from playing in the server. So I can't actually do Void Elsword, guys. Sorry about that. Okay, so real name, how old am I? Have I ever had a girlfriend? Yada, yada, yada. Okay, so I'm not going to tell you my last name because my last name, I don't like it. I really, really don't like my last name. My first name's Eric, and I mean, that's come up a couple times in SCP because there's an SCP that when you go near it, it says Eric. So that's kind of a recurring joke. It's like, oh, it's talking to me. This is the 5th time I've made this joke, and it's still funny. And I'm 24 years old. I turned 24 last month, I think. Yeah, 24 years old. You lose track after a while. And I've ever had a girlfriend? Yes. We'll leave it at that. What do I think Lucille's 3rd job class will be like? Honestly, I have no idea. I mean, the 3rd class is usually the transform class, which takes them and makes them something crazy, weird, and unique that no one ever expected. So that degree, I don't really know. I mean, the 1st and 2nd jobs, one focused on Lou and then Seal, one focused on Seal and then Lou. So there's not really going to be any symmetry there. So this is probably either going to focus on both of them equally in the 2 jobs, or it's going to focus on one more than the other, and then that one will just be unfairly advantaged. But as for what it actually is, I don't know. I mean, I could see Seal abandoning his guns and doing a different technique of fighting, which would be kind of a transformation for him. But for Lou, I don't really know. She could abandon her magic, maybe. It's really hard to say. I'm not really super good at coming up with these kind of ideas. Menthu's better at that kind of stuff than I am, but really, I'm not totally sure what the specifics could even be. But yeah, I think there's definitely lots of opportunity for a cool 3rd job. Let's just hope it's not overpowered as all hell. How did I start playing Elsword? Okay, so this really isn't much of a story. Menthu and I, long before he was even Menthu, we like playing online games together. It's kind of our thing. We just play online games together. And he was looking for one for us to play that was just kind of a casual, beat 'em up game for us to play together. And he found Elsword, so we started playing Elsword, and that's why I'm playing Elsword. That's the entire story. I mean, there's nothing much to it. My thoughts on Elsword's balance. Okay, yeah, you mentioned I don't play PvP, and I really don't. I did it once for an event, and mostly I ended up fighting more NPCs than humans because of the event. So I don't know much about it in terms of first-hand experience. I've heard lots of complaining about it. I've heard lots and lots of complaining about it. That, Lucille is overpowered, that various Ellis's classes are stronger than others, and that kind of thing. So it really seems like it's actually very poorly balanced. And to my knowledge, PvP isn't as common, as popular in Korea, so that could kind of explain why they're not super focused on balancing PvP, because it's not a big thing over there. But yeah, it really seems like it could use some balance tweaking, and hopefully the revamp will kind of address that, but as it's going so far, yeah, not so much. Who is Menthu? What happened to Samael, and does Menthu have a YouTube channel? Okay, so Samael was Menthu's original name. When we started playing, we were in a different server before it got merged with the North American server, so that's why we were now in the North American server. But that was Samuel, whose name was changed to Menthu when the servers were merged. So they're the same person. Menthu, Nesher, and Samuel are all the same actual real-life person. As for how I met him online through a Kingdom Hearts community about 4 years ago-ish. And that's all I have to say about that because I don't know what else he wants me to say. It's his privacy, not mine, so. And no, he does not have a YouTube channel. Sorry. Who is my favorite character in Elsword? I think I kind of touched on this in the previous question. Deadly Chaser. Chung. I mean, whichever one you want to pick. I love Chung. I like all the Chungs. Tactical Trooper is actually pretty awesome. Iron Paladin is probably my least favorite of them, but I still like him a lot. More than most other characters. And Deadly Chaser is obviously my freaking favorite class of all of them, so Chung. When will you do collabs, especially with me? And where is that house tour? When do you plan to Kingdom Hearts 2? And what and other type of console games? Okay, so console games are harder to record and require external equipment that I left all the way back in Canada with my old group that did Let's Plays. They still have all that equipment, and it's like $500 to replace it. Oh, not quite that much. Probably $300 to replace it, so I'm not gonna do that unless a game really comes along and I'm like, yes, I must play that. As for playing Kingdom Hearts, I love that game so much, and I kind of want to play it, but it's so long when you consider the fact that it's Kingdom Hearts 1, Kingdom Hearts 2, and all the other Kingdom Hearts games, and then Kingdom Hearts 3 is coming out, and then the HD re-releases, so there's a lot of games to play, and I can't record all of them because one's a PSP game, like Birth by Sleep is a PSP game, so I can't really play that one on the channel. But yeah, so probably not going to play it. And house tour, I live in a 2-room apartment. There's really not much to tour. There's this room, then there's a bedroom, and then there's a kitchen. There's your house tour. And when will I do collabs? There's a reason I haven't done any. Because I did one, and it was a horrible experience. The scheduling was a nightmare. Then, when he said he was ready to do it, he wasn't actually ready to do it, so I ended up waiting 3 hours for him to actually get ready to do it. And then it took, 20 minutes to actually finish it. Then he never sent me the files, even though I messaged him 4 times to send me the files for it so that I could upload it to my channel, and that just never happened. Then never heard from him again. So I have bad experience with collabs, and my scheduling with Menthu is already hard enough. So yeah, collabs are probably not something that's going to happen unless an opportunity just jumps out at me. Why do I play horror games? Okay, so a long time ago, 5-6 years ago, I thought I'd played the scariest games ever. I thought I had played very scary games. I'd played horror mods for Oblivion and all that kind of stuff, and I was like, man, nothing is scary anymore. These games are ridiculous. Nothing is scary. And I'd watch horror movies, and I'm like, this is nothing. This is ridiculous. And then I met Menthu. Blame Menthu for all of this. And Menthu told me, you don't know horror yet. You obviously do not know horror yet. You're bullshitting. What the hell is wrong with you? You don't know anything about horror. So he sent me to Silent Hill 2. I was like, okay, how bad could this possibly be? After 2 hours, I was like, what the hell? I'm screwed out of my mind. I don't know what the hell is going on here. What the F? And it was a cool experience. I don't know why. I don't know why I like that, but it was something different, I guess. I'd always been misled into thinking that I was being scared when nothing was really actually scary to me. And then I was actually scared, and it was this vindicating feeling. It's kind of like some people like going on a roller coaster so they can feel on the edge and they can feel a thrill. And that's the kind of thrill I get from playing horror games, is that it's scary, it's unique, it's weird, and it's different from all the other games I've played in the past. Games like Elsword, they're challenging, but they don't really offer any thrills or riveting scares. They don't actually toy with me. They don't play with my emotions and that kind of stuff, and I kind of enjoy that. It's different. It makes you feel like the game's a little more real and you're a little more into it. So that is why I like horror games. And games like Five Nights at Freddy's don't do that as much, but the jump scares can kind of get you, and it can set a good atmosphere and kind of toy with your emotions a little bit. So yeah, that's why I play horror games, just to evoke that different kind of emotion from other games, I guess. Do I watch anime, and if so, what is my favorite? My favorite of all time is Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, and I guess that kind of answers the question. Yes, I watch anime. I've had a few other series. I really loved the first season of Tokyo Ghoul. Hunter x Hunter was good for a while, and then it kind of went like this, and then it just stayed going downhill, so I didn't really like the end of that series. But yeah, so I like anime. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is great, and the original series is great too. I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, Brotherhood is the superior race, master race Brotherhood. No, I really like the original Full Metal Alchemist series as well, so there you go. What is my favorite food? Pizza. Next. Will I do a secret dungeon video or a Henier time and space video? I kind of want to, but I haven't figured it out yet. I don't know whether I want to do with my Rune Slayer or with my Deadly Chaser and which secret dungeons I'm going to do and stuff, so I haven't figured that stuff out. I do still want to do them because I haven't done them, and I think they're good potential for videos, so I'm looking into doing those. I do want to do them, I just haven't figured out how yet, so stay tuned. What character do I hate most in Elsword? Okay, I'll be clear here. I don't actually hate any characters in Elsword. There's times when I do hate being around those characters. Like when Seal first came out, I hated the idea that he was ripping off a bunch of other characters. But I don't hate Seal. I don't hate him. And this is kind of the thing that people think about me, is that when I criticize something, like I ripped Seal a new one in my Lucille video. And people are like, oh, why do you hate Seal? You're not allowed to hate Seal. You just like Luz so much. And I'm like, no, Seal's just ripping everyone off. And it's not that I hate him. And I don't hate Reyna and Aisha, I just don't find them interesting. If I had to say there's something I hate, it's when a Code Battle Seraph comes in and just rips through everything in the dungeon. When it comes in with the laser and clears an entire floor in one shot, and you're like, well, I guess I'm not needed in this dungeon, why don't you just go solo it? So that would be one thing that I hate. So I guess Code Battle Seraph, maybe? But I don't really hate anything in Elsword, so make of that what you will. Okay, so that's all the questions. It took me about 15 minutes to answer them all, so that was pretty good. So if you guys have any more questions for me, you can leave them on the comments on this video. I'm not going to make another Q&A video, but I'll try and answer in the comments down below. If I don't feel like answering your question, I just won't. Because secrecy and mysteries and, I don't know, make some shit up here. But anyway, that's all I got for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And like I said, that's all I got. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.